starting 11, greatest French team of all time.
Yeah. So we've done a couple of countries in the past. France, we're doing today, and then we'll do a few more. But yeah, this is the international best 11 for France. The way I looked at it was I don't really care. I'm not really taking club success
Mm,
into account, like in any way. This is the international team. That's kind of how I looked at it.
interesting. I think I was much more of a blend between the two. I think on the whole, I would agree. I think international should count more in this equation, especially if it's somebody that's got many caps, a long time player. But I wasn't excluding thinking about the club side, so it definitely came into the equation a
I
little bit.
definitely did. So it'll be interesting to see how different our teams are. Uh, but I did a traditional 4-4-2 as well. I kind of fudged up the midfield, but let's just get into it and go through it and see how we
100%.
do.
I got some players just I needed on the field that might not be in the right position, but
I know there are
I
some
think they just
tough
had to be out
cuts.
there. Yeah,
Tough
but
cuts.
but at the same time, if you were faced with this decision, I think anyone would make the same choices, right? There's certain players that just have to be out on the field, so
Yeah, absolutely.
doesn't matter where. So yeah, so we're gonna build a team live. We're gonna go back and forth through our team from back to front, to have some debates
Let's
and
do
try to
it.
get the best squad out there we can.
Let's do it. All right, in goal, I think there's two options here. It's Barthez or it's Lloris. Who did you end up going with?
I ended up going with Lloris. I think there's a lot of mystique and just sort of legendary status around Barthez. And I feel like he was a pretty good goalie. I got to say, when I have watched clips of him in the past, I've been left a little bit less than impressed. I got to say, I feel like technically maybe he wasn't the best goalie from that perspective. I think maybe he kind of just had that confidence, that aura about him, which definitely carries some weight. But Lloris, the all-time caps holder for the French
Yeah,
team,
that's what.
captain for what, at least 5, but maybe even 10 years. I forget how long he was captain, but he has to be on there. You just have to go with him.
Yeah, he leads the country in caps, 145. It's an amazing stat, and he was a part of the World Cup winning team. Like Barthez was on the '98 World Cup team, so that's one thing. We're pretty much going to pick players from both those squads. I think that majority of my players are. France
Yeah,
won two
most
World
likely.
Cups, one in '98 and one in 2022. So I put a lot of extra weight on those titles as I think they should have. So a lot of the players that we're selecting are on those two squads.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, definitely carried some extra weight for sure.
All right, at left back, I think this was a tougher decision for me because I don't remember exactly how he played, but I do remember him, and he has 97 caps. Uh, he was on the '98 World Cup team. I chose Lizarazu as my left back. I thought about
He's,
Teo Hernandez, but I went Lizarazu. The caps and like the extent to how he played. My 10 minutes of research, he was my pick.
yeah. Yeah, so for me, it actually came down to two. It came down to Lizarazu and Evra as the two options. Lizarazu does outcap him 97 to 82 or 81, actually. But the fact that I literally have not one memory of ever watching that guy play, I was really struggling
Yeah, I know.
to try and make a decision there. So I ended up going with Evra, but I very easily could be talked in the other direction. So I don't know what
I
your
mean,
thoughts were about
the
Evra.
thing with Evra, I think that I just have a weird bias towards Evra. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I can't really put my finger on it. I just didn't really like him as a player. Uh, so I'm coming clean on my bias. I think it's a fine pick. I'm okay going with it because I didn't have strong feelings on this one.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. Yeah, put Ever in there.
All right. We'll toss him in.
This one I will not have a debate on. My center back, and I think he has to be on the team, is Desai. I'll
Yes.
let you put him ever in, as I will
It isn't-
monologue about Marcel Desailly. So he was an absolute boss. Uh, he played center back, played for AC Milan, Marseille. Who else did he play for? I think that might be it. He probably played for a couple other clubs that I can't think of, but absolute beast. He was on the '98 World Cup team. Won the Euros in 2000. He's got what I have it here, 116 caps. So like he was
Yeah,
absolute beast on the
yeah, top
team.
10 all time.
Yeah, like he has to be on the squad. French legend.
Legend right there. Yeah, I had him as well. Where I had a little bit of difficulty was trying to fit in all the defenders that I thought should be in there. So I did have him as one of my two center back spots, though. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, so actually how I did it, I didn't go position by position. I started with, okay, who has to be on this team?
Yeah, dude, I did the same thing. I listed out all the players that kind of came to mind. This was my approach. I listed all, I didn't care about positions, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, I just went through and I was like, highlight green if they just have to be on the team.
Well, let's go through it that way then instead of
Yeah.
position by position, because Desai was one of those guys where I was like, he has to be on this team. So I put him on the list. The other guy, defender that has to be on this team for me is Lilian Thuram.
Yep.
He's a must. Right back, absolute stud. I've talked about him before. He has 142 caps, which is crazy for a field player. He's 3 caps behind Hugo Lloris, goalkeeper. Again, a part of that 98 team, the Euro winning 2000 team. He was just a force. He's one of my favorite players of all time. He was like early days, like one of my first memories of like really loving a particular player and playing style. He was awesome.
Yeah, he definitely sticks out to me. I know I believe me, I've heard you tell stories about watching him when you were young and just how much of an impression he made. He was just so dynamic out there, at a time when I feel like I didn't really understand soccer that well either, when you're watching at those ages,
Yeah.
but you could just tell it still translated even at an age when you didn't really know what was going on. Like that guy is good. Like that guy is
He
it just jumped off the screen to you. And he was one of those, like you said, that was an instant. He's got to be on the team somewhere.
Absolutely. And
I looked it up, and technically he is listed as a center back, but I also put him at right back. I feel like he kind of flip flop between the two pretty often.
yeah, agreed. I feel like he was better at right back too. He was a little more dynamic, could get up the field a little bit more. But yeah, he has to be on it. Father of Marcus Thuram of Inter.
Yeah.
He's also got another son, but I can't remember where he plays.
Yeah, I think he was like a center defensive mid. Oh no, he might be. Is he on Juventus?
I don't know. I can't remember. He's got that weird name.
Yeah,
It's like Egyptian or something. But anyway,
Kefren Turam. Yeah, he's on Juventus now.
yeah, he's absolute stud. So he was a must for me, and then the next must is Zinedine Zidane.
Yeah, top of the list. Yep.
I mean, what's there to say? I mean, like anybody who doesn't have Zidane on this team is like never watched France play or knows nothing about French football. Like he should be on this list on this team purely for the 98 World Cup. Like if he did nothing else after that or before, he should be on this team.
And yet he comes to the 2006 World Cup in his last season and is the best player in the World Cup.
I know you're an Italian fan and you loved seeing Italy win that World Cup. But man, I wanted France to win so bad purely because of him. Because he's just so fun to watch, dude. It's
a different level.
Just one of those players that we'll never see anybody like him ever again.
Yeah, just like the skill with the body size and physicality is just, you don't see that at all. You see maybe equivalent skill potentially in like one-on-ones and stuff, but you don't see the whole package, and you don't see it in somebody that's like 6'2 plus and dominating people across the field wherever they go. Like it's just all around has to be in the conversation for best all around players of all time. Like, there's just no way you can have that conversation without him in it.
Yeah, I don't think that's a stretch. Just
Yeah.
if anyone says I think Zidane's the best player in the world, I don't think anybody's correcting them or the best player of
Yeah.
all time. Like everyone's got their opinion. Most people would say Messi, but
Yep.
I would
Some will say
not. I would
Maradona.
not
Yep.
argue with anybody who would say Zidane, Maradona, Messi, any of those guys. He's one of those
Exactly.
guys. Dude, he was
100%.
so awesome. And like you say all those things about like how good he was as skill wise, physically, but
Yeah.
mentally he was a step ahead every time. Every
Yeah.
time. It's just the combination of all those things made him so
Just
elite.
coolness personified.
Always cool.
Yeah.
Always cool. Except that one
Except
time when he
that one
headbutt the guy
moment.
and got a red card, dude. The one moment. It's like, what? Just didn't
It's so
compute.
good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, he 108 caps for him, 31 goals. The '98 World Cup was his crowning achievement, beating Brazil, and yeah, that '06. I don't know the right word, but he had an amazing tournament, even that just wasn't capped off in glory.
Yeah. No, I mean, he he won the Golden Ball, right? Yeah, he won. Even though he didn't win the World Cup, he still won Best Player of the tournament. So
Yeah,
just an
deserving.
incredible way to cap off your career too. That was his last professional game. You
I
know,
know. It's like, dude, you could have kept playing.
it's crazy. He was that good, man.
I swear
Unreal.
he could still give like 10, 15 minutes and like make a
Yeah,
difference.
you hear some of these stories when he was coaching about like, and to be honest, you actually hear some of these stories too about Chabi Alonso as well. But players where they're like, "Well, we weren't doing what we were supposed to do. You come on the field and show us what we were supposed to do." You know,
That's
like still
awesome.
and
That's
still ball it up on him.
I know, dude. That's so sick. All right, who else was your must-haves on this squad?
Yeah, so I'll just read off my top three as I was doing the list. Yeah, I have a whole list here, right? But the first three names that were down on paper: Zidane, number one; number two, Thierry Henry
Yep.
was my second one that just had to be part of this team, and number three was Michel Platini.
Yep. Yep. I have both those guys, of course. Platini, the only one who didn't get a World Cup, but won the Euros in '84, captained the team. He was a 3-time Ballon d'Or champion, I believe, winner. So,
I think yeah, something like I don't have the exact stats here, but yeah,
so he played in the '80s, um, and so you and I both didn't get to see him
yeah,
play.
three times in a row.
Yeah, I think it was like
83, 84, 85.
yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I've seen highlights, but you can't get enough from highlights from 1983. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I would have loved to see him play. Either way, he's a French legend, absolute great, and needs to be on this team.
Struggling to find these players on the on the half
Platini.
here. What am I missing here?
Well, as you struggle, we can talk about Thierry Henry, who's second, I think, in goals scored for France with 51. He's got 123 caps. He was on that '98 World Cup team and played all the way through. Uh, I can't remember when he retired. I don't have it here, but 2010. That's what it was. Yeah, he is one of the greatest French players of all time as well. I feel like he really didn't have a World Cup moment that sticks with me. However, I feel like he was always like a perennial player, but
Hmm.
like in that '98 team, like he wasn't the best player. He was just
Yeah.
insanely good on that team. Like,
Hmm.
but he's still deserving to be. He has to be on here.
100%. Yeah, and that's where that original thing you talked about, right? Like weighing and measuring club performance and history and legacy versus international. The lines can be blurred a little, but this is a prime example where if you take a strict just international look at this, it definitely drops down a few rungs, you know?
Yeah, but he's still at 51 goals.
Yeah.
Like he's still super high up there. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that?
Third all time.
Third all time.
Or no,
Yeah.
second all time. Sorry, Mbappe's one goal behind him.
Oh, that's
So
right. Mbappe just passed him.
Mbappe's gonna pass him.
Yeah.
Uh, so the other, so those were the. I think those were definitely the three, plus the defenders that we mentioned. The other one that I actually think needs to be on here, but I don't know if you feel the same way, is Didier Deschamps.
Okay.
Because
I did not. He was not as high up on my list there. I had another person that played in that position though that I have that high.
I think I know who that is. I have that person too, but
Okay.
I'm going to make the case for Didier Deschamps
Okay.
because he played on the 98 team. He captained the team for many years, and then
Yeah.
he coached the
Yeah.
World Cup winning 2022 team. So, I mean, he's directly involved in the 2 World Cups that France have won. And that's got to mean something. So that's why I think he should be on there. He's got 103 caps. That's 9th all time. Like, he was on that Euro winning team. I think that was his last year. And then Zidane kind of took over from there. Or a little bit before that. But I think he's got a case to be on this team. But
I think you're right. I mean, I think I was a little recency bias with mine. My guy was N'Golo Kante.
I thought of he was the cut. Did you get wait? Did you put Vieira on your team in the mid?
I did, but I had to throw him out of position to get him out there.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Okay, so our four is Zidane, Vieira, Platini, and then so you did Conte, I did Didier Deschamps.
But I mean you're spot on. You know, the greatest French team of all time, Deschamps the guy. You know, that I can admit my faults there going with Conte. I had Deschamps just first out, basically. You know, one of those first out of the team, but
yeah, but
the stats back it up. And I had him also. I was thinking of coaches as a separate list.
Yeah.
So I have him on the coaching list as well. So he's on my list twice. But I just picked Conte over him. I think in their primes, I think where I was coming from is I think Conte was probably better in his prime, but didn't have the legacy that Deschamps had across all these tournaments and captaining and all that stuff, right? All of that adds another layer that you have to take into account, which I really wasn't.
Yeah, I gave bonus points for being a captain for any of these players. Like Vieira, same thing. He was a captain for a while.
Yeah.
Zidane, Patti, like being a captain for the international team is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Even Lloris was a captain. So I gave bonus points for that. And the fact that he was directly involved with the 2 World Cups, I just feel like he has to be included. But I'm sure 100%. You put him as your manager.
I did not.
What? No way. Who was the 98 manager? I forget.
I'm not sure.
I'll look it up while you talk about Vieira, because that's the only other guy.
Yeah, so I ended up squeezing him out on the left side, put him out there in left mid. I just had to put him somewhere on the field. But you mentioned already he was a captain. He was just a natural leader. Captain Arsenal, as well as, you know, being a captain for the French team, just commanding presence on the field every time you watch any game he played in. Similar to Zidane in this way, right? But you see he's in the game. He is impacting the game. He is the focal point of the game. He's in all of the action. He's driving the team forward. Just it's funny. It's like a lot of correlation with Zidane in the way that impacting the game both defensively and offensively, and just being able to sort of string play together. And even more sort of, I would say, intimidating athletic package, you know, not as skilled as Zidane, but in a lot of the similar sense, right? And just that the thing you mentioned was that presence was Zidane, and it's equally true with Vieira. He was just all aura the whole time he's on the field, and you could see it.
Yeah, I tried to take a deep dive and look at it, and he was just, I think he joined in 97. And so he was still new to the French team in that 98 World Cup. And so he really wasn't a focal point. Like, I don't even think he played in the final match. or he might have come off the bench, but he didn't start. So like
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't really a big part or a big reason why they won the 98 World Cup, but after that point is kind of when he hit his stride, and for the next like 5-6 years he was a stalwart on that team. And like you said, like he's one of those guys that's just a legendary player,
Mm-hmm.
synonymous with French football. Like you gotta put him in here.
100%. Yeah. He was in that mix of players just instantly highlighting. You've got to be on here.
Okay, I think
So,
so.
we're having take a drink. We're having some technical difficulties. It appears some of the historic players are not on the EAFC, which we've been using as our squad builder. If you're watching this team come together, but Evra, I cannot find. I cannot find what was it, Deschamps, and I cannot find Platini
Okay.
on here. So I think there's some licensing crap going on, but we'll work through it.
All right. Well, for your striker, your other striker, did you go Mbappe?
I put Platini here because I had to put him somewhere.
Why not in
So
the
you put him out on
midfield?
the right.
Yeah, I put him in
Okay.
the mid. Yeah, I put him in the mid.
Okay. All right.
Uh, because I put him there. And then I was thinking striker has to be Mbappe.
I think at this point, yeah, I think I'm fine with that. So I took a different route. I really kind of avoided the younger players. To be like just from the very get go, I was like, Mbappe is going to be on this list, but I almost took the perspective of like he's not there yet. Like I was thinking of like he still has so much more to give and contribute to the team.
True.
Yes, he's already done so much though, right? So I think it's a very fair argument that he already deserves to be there. But I kind of, just immediately excluded him. But I'm fine
Okay.
with that. I obviously with this weird position swapping we were doing, so I had Platini up top, and so I was left with a right mid in my thinking because I didn't think of Platini as being even possibly out on the side, but that's probably fair. But I put Ribéry in there because I needed a right mid,
Yeah,
and
he was a
said
favorite, but I didn't include
he
him.
was so good. He was so good.
He was so good. I feel like he was never like given his flowers during his career. You know, I feel like
Never.
he was always just for whatever reason, even when he was on Bayern, I feel like he was just never appreciated as much as he should have been.
I agree. Yeah, he was. It always seemed like he was never the best player on his team, right? I really think that's what it comes down to is like he was on those crazy Bayern teams, but you probably would have chosen Robin over him, And then obviously he was on these French teams where he's definitely not the best player.
Mm-hmm.
So he was always had a built-in overshadowing. I feel like
He was so skillful. He was an amazing dribbler of the ball. Like he had
super
a
dynamic. Yeah,
unique style of dribbling that was really hard to deal with, and he was so good at getting by players and taking people on.
yeah.
He was
Yeah,
awesome.
but I think the right spot is him. We'll slide Platini in this blank spot. We have Deschamps and then Evra there, and then we'll put Mbappe up top. It's probably the right call.
I mean, Mbappe's already got a World Cup. He's third all time in goals already. He's about to pass Thierry Henry. I think he's already got. Hang on, he's already got 98 or 100 and no 99 caps. That's crazy.
Who's that?
Mbappe. He's
Already got 90. Oh my
already
god.
has 90 caps. Like
Yeah, it's incredible.
he's gonna
And what is he?
destroy.
25.
Yeah, he's got at least two more. Okay, I got you. Yeah, he's at least got two more World Cups, right? Barring
Yeah. Oh,
injury.
easily. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's not slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, and 90 caps, 50 goals at let's see, he's been playing on the team for 8 years already. That's crazy. So
I
what did he
know.
debut at 16?
It's insane. Absolutely insane.
It's incredible, man.
All right, so who do we got on the squad now?
So technically, the only spot we're now missing is the other center back. We talked through Everett at left, or we put Thuram at right. For the other center back, I kind of dove a little bit into history here because I felt like I just didn't have a lot of options that immediately jumped to me. I did have Varane jump into my mind, but I just don't think his stretch at his peak was enough. Though he is, what is this, 13th all time in appearances at 93.
Yeah,
So I
he
mean,
was.
you can make an argument for him, but Laurent Blanc at 97 appearances playing, was it 16 goals contributed as a defender? This is incredible. I think he just had to be there. Like he just, looking historically, he also coached the team for a little bit of time as well, which I think adds some bonus points.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not that they were very successful,
Yeah,
but
this was my toughest spot to fill, and I kind of defaulted to Varane because I had all 98 players
yeah,
in the back four. So I was like, I gotta get a newer player in there. So I put him in. But yeah, I'm cool with yours, especially since we swapped out for Evra on the left side.
yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a pretty good squad. We got Lloris. We were pretty dialed on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Thuram on the right, Blanc, Desailly in the middle, Evra on the left, and then our midfield. I don't know. You can put them wherever you want, but Vieira, Zidane, Platini, and Deschamps, and then up top, Henry and Mbappe, which would be just a terrifying duo to face.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
And then we mentioned, so if we talk first starters off the bench, so we mentioned some of the names like Conte. We mentioned Ribéry. There's Conte. We got Ribéry. Who else did we mention? Yeah, we didn't mention anybody else that didn't make the list. So I did have a list here I had selected for a bench. I don't know if you had any honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions: N'Golo Kante, Antoine Griezmann. I feel like really got snubbed here.
Yeah,
because he's not one of my favorite players, so this is hard for me to say. But he is just as deserving as any of these other guys. Like he played on the French team a ton. I don't have his caps right in front of me, but he was a huge part of that 2022 World Cup team. I think he was player of the match in the final. He got ousted because of the legends in the midfield for me, but he is definitely deserving to play.
Yeah, I agree. He's got to be. He was on my list as well. I think it's very fair to have him there.
Olivier Giroud,
Yep.
Constantly undervalued, highest goal scorer in French history. Mbappe will probably pass him, but for now, he holds that title.
Yeah, some of the other names I have, Benzema, who obviously was shunned for quite a while, but if you're just talking about who were some of the greatest players of all time,
yeah,
that wore the French shirt, he's got to be in that combo. Another player, Cantona.
Yeah.
We didn't mention, just purely from a talent perspective, I think he's got to be part of that combo. And then a couple historic players that I didn't know much about, but popped up doing research. But Just Fontaine was consistently coming up as one of the greatest French players of all time. I think he had some crazy stat in the World Cup. Like he scored the most goals ever in any one World Cup with 13 goals in 6 matches in 1958. So he's just one of those players in that era of, a Pele and that sort of thing where kind of lost to history, but very much deserves to be in any sort of conversation we have here.
And that's sick. So I have the AI team.
Okay.
This is why AI is fucking dumb. Because they only gave 10 players. But they had Barthez in goal, and then they had Thuram, Desailly, Marius Tresor, and Roger Marsh in defense, who I do not know. And then Didier Deschamps, Platini, and Zidane in the middle. And then Thierry Henry and Raymond Kopa up top.
Yep. Kopa was the other historic player. Yep.
So I looked up Raymond Kopa, and he played in the 40s and 50s. I was like, oh, that's why. Okay. He scored 18 goals in 45 matches between 1952 and 1962.
Incredible.
Yeah, but they
Yeah,
didn't win.
it's just so tough. I know we struggled with this a little bit when we did the Dutch team too. It's like, how do you properly weigh and assess, these players that
These
we
old
didn't have a
players.
chance to watch at all? That either you're looking at some grainy footage of one game they played ever, or you're looking at nothing.
I know it's
And
impossible.
it's really impossible, and you don't want to do them a disservice, but at the same time, it's real difficult to try to put them above anybody else that you've been able to see with your own eyes.
We'll cheers to him. We'll cheers
Yeah,
to him.
100%.
We never got to see you play. According to Wikipedia, Copa was named by Pele as one of the top 125 greatest living footballers. So
Okay,
if Pele
deserved it then.
thinks you're probably pretty fucking good.
Yeah. And then why don't we hit coach next? I had two more sections to hit, but coach next. Did you go through managers?
No, but Deschamps was the 2022 coach we talked about. 98. I looked it up, and it was some guy's name I just don't even want to try to pronounce. But I didn't recognize him.
Okay. Yeah. So once again, getting back to the fact that you took a much more regimented focus on international play and performance and impact, where I think much more weighed club performance just as much. Arsene Wenger immediately jumped to the top of the list for me in terms of legendary status, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Yes, he didn't coach the French national team, but in terms of French coaches, I think he's the best ever. If you want to go the route and say, no, we're talking just national team performance, national team coaching, yeah, Deschamps is the right choice. I think it has to be.
No, I like that Wenger pick.
But best coaches of all time, I think I got to go with him.
He was a great coach, man. He always had those Arsenal teams humming, and they played a really awesome style.
How do you spell this guy's name?
Arsene Wenger. Oh, Didier.
Nah, none of these guys. Nobody's popping up on this thing anymore, man.
It's too old of players.
Yeah, it's tough. But yeah, I think it was between those two, and then I had a 3 list, and once again, Zidane had to pop up on that with his performance coaching for Real Madrid. A team full of stars and finding a way to navigate that and win the Champions League is pretty impressive. Usually I feel like you see those players that were the quote unquote best players on the field in their generation really struggle when it comes to coaching, right? Because they kind of see the game differently, and
yeah, not all great players are great coaches.
I feel like most are not, to be honest. Generally,
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the thing, and he really proved that wrong. One of the greatest players you've ever seen.
Yeah, I tried to get Dimitri Payet on my squad, but he just
I was gonna say honorable mentions, man. So you got Payet, he was on my list.
Yeah, Payet, Elise will be on there soon.
Soon, yeah.
Yeah, the Franck Ribéry was a big one. He was a favorite of mine for a long time. And then I'm forgetting somebody. Trezeguet.
Yep.
Love Trezeguet.
Trezeguet was on my so my honorable mention list, so just off the bench, I had Trezeguet, Pogba, Payet, Varane, and then I had Lissano Diarra as well.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ballon Drunks. If you like the show, please like and subscribe. If you want to watch full episodes, check us out on Apple Podcast and Spotify.
Cheers. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.